Evan, do you have any piercings? I don't know if that's a personal question.
Yeah. Oh God. I have one tattoo, and I used to have two piercings, two ear piercings actually, in my left ear. I had got them in end of eighth grade. I think I took them out in the middle of high school, and I was definitely that super cool kid. I think I had like a like a scythe as one of my piercings, like a sickle. Um,
What?
I ran track, so I
That's kind of
also for my
that's kind of
second
fitting for this.
yeah my second one I like took a used track spike, and then I ground it down and I made it into an earring. I had a yin yang. I had like some interesting ones. Though I got rid of them. I have this other interesting piercing story that I'd love to share, which is I ran track in high school and then college a little bit post collegiately. And in college, my freshman year, I got sixth place indoors. I think it was sixth, maybe fifth, in our league championship meet in the winter in track. And on the bus ride home, I made a deal with our coach at the time, and I said, I'm going to get third or better next year in this event. And he said, if you do that, I will get a tongue piercing. And I was like, okay, I'm going to hold you to that.
Jeez.
And this is like a male track coach. And he's like, I'm going to get a tongue piercing. And come around the next winter, and I believe by 200ths of a second, I got third place. And
Wow.
so I was like, all right, coach, like you owe me a tongue piercing. Like I want to see you get a tongue piercing because like that's absurd and insane that like a grown person would get a tongue piercing.
Did you fulfill?
So first he said, okay, I'll do it during spring break. I'll get it at the beginning of spring break. And then we did like a week long training trip during spring break. And he's like, I'll get it at the beginning of spring break, and then maybe I'll take it out by the end of spring break. And I was like, no problem. Cool. Let's do that. And then it pivoted to like, well, okay, tongue piercings might be painful. So I think it should be an eyebrow piercing. And I was like, cool. I mean, you said tongue, I'd be down for that. But like, if you're going to get an eyebrow piercing, cool, let's do this. Like, I was just like, I want to see him get a piercing because
Why does he have other piercings? Like,
no,
why did he go? Why did he put the not? Why did he make the stake? If you do this, I'll get a tongue piercing.
I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea. I think it was just like, this is how, like, I don't think you're gonna be able to pull it off. I mean, he was a
Because
very
you
supportive
didn't have
coach.
you didn't have piercings at the time. So I'm just like,
Yeah,
what's
oh
the
no, yeah.
connection?
I,
Like,
I have no idea. I
what?
think it was just like, this is the most insane thing he could think of.
Okay, all
And
right.
I think actually technically one of his arguments for why was you can hide a tongue piercing. That like you don't necessarily see it, and you could take it out and then it'll heal.
You can have a nipple piercing too.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, anyway, long story short, I hounded him again and again, and he never got either the tongue piercing or the eyebrow piercing, and I was very disappointed. Yeah,
I guess he really, maybe he didn't really have faith in you winning.
but I mean, but I won the bet. Like, if you're gonna make the bet,
Well,
this is why I don't really make many bets if I don't think I'm gonna win, because like I'm worried of losing. But I
mhm,
also believe in like holding up your side of the bargain. So
true.
I was just, I was a little let down. But also, like, I have no idea, as you said, why he would ever have committed to wanting to get, like, that he would actually get a tongue piercing. Do you have any piercing stories?
Stories, personal stories? No, I do not. I've never pierced myself, or have gotten piercing. I've seen Beth get a piercing, but
Did you want to
that's
share
it.
where that piercing was, or is that a personal thing?
I was in her
Oh, okay.
nose piercing. Yeah, that's it.
My older sister, my parents, I think, didn't like let her get a piercing, so she like pierced it herself, her ear, I think it was, which is like not advised to do, but I think she, sterilized a needle and like, yeah,
So if you're a fan of piercings, or not, no, if you're not a fan of piercings, you might want to skip this trailer because
yes.
that opening shot is pretty gnarly.
All right, so welcome to Trailer Teardowns. I'm one of your co-hosts, Evan Bass-Seisel, joined by Angel Acevedo, and today we're discussing the trailer for Final Destination Bloodlines, which does feature a very interesting nose-piercing moment, long moment. I don't know. We can
Well, there's The opening shot is the tongue piercing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, here, you give
Yeah.
the background and then we'll dive into it because I think it is a really interesting way they've done this teaser.
Yeah. All right. So the movie directed by two guys, Zach. I'm gonna butcher his last name.
Lipovsky?
Lipovsky and
Yeah.
Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein, directing duo. And you know what? I forgot to look up what they've done before. Um, it stars Richard Harmon, Breck Bassinger, and Tony Todd is rumored to be reprising his role of Bloodworth, which may be his final film, as he passed away this past November. So it's not confirmed. The movie's coming out May 16th, 2025. And yeah, it's been 14 years since the last Final Destination movie, Final Destination 5, which came out in 2011. John Watts, the director of the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy, has a story credit, so he's involved. And interestingly, I thought it was pretty cool. I remember reading this story when it came out a couple years ago. The directors landed this directing gig by faking a decapitation in their pitch Zoom meeting with the studio. Like they faked one of them had their head chopped off in their pitch meeting, which
Interesting.
is really cool. I tried to look to see if it was online. It's not, unfortunately. But it sounds really cool. They used some pre-recorded video and
Yeah.
hid some cuts and things like that. But that kind of wowed the executives, and they're like, "All right, you guys should go
We'll let you
direct this
do the
movie."
18th version or sequel to this franchise.
Yeah, so that's that, and yeah, this teaser. What do you think?
The thing that stands out, of course, is it's one scene. It's one long scene. I think I really enjoyed how they started it. It's almost like an alien or some weird like torture thing that ends up just being an innocuous tongue piercing reveal that I thought was really smart because one thing especially about Final Destination is it's very high concept. You know the premise of it and it's easy to just like something bad's going to happen. People miss dying when they're supposed to die and then the universe comes for them. And like that's the premise of all of them. Very easy to get, very easy to follow. So that I think this trailer was playing a little bit against it. It's like, what is going on with this close up of this tongue? It has the tweezers pulling it, and I was like, initially I thought, okay, this is some weird torture thing that's going on. What's going on? And then you reveal, oh, it's not. And then you get that initial dialogue line, which is felt like a throwaway until you are understanding the concept of the movie. I mean, I guess if you think of the title, Final Destination Bloodlines, should have been obvious, but it wasn't to me. And he's like, oh, my dad just died, and then they make me still come into work. Like, this sucks. And then she gets her piercing, and then you get a little bit of the comedy in there, like, give me 5 stars kind of thing. But yeah, I thought it was really interesting that they made it one long scene. And every aspect of it, you're like, oh, this is where he's going to die. Oh, this is where he's going to die. And they, because of just how the previous movies worked out. So to me, I thought they played really well off of that. And then, of course, at the end, every single one comes together for it in a completely absurd way.
This
That's
is
my initial takeaway. What's yours?
So yeah, you don't really see a lot of these teasers like this, where it's just like one scene.
Mm-hmm.
One sequence, and then that's it. So this is cool to see this, especially for this, because it's all about building up what's gonna happen. And I actually wish I saw this in theaters, because going in, I would like, oh, what is this movie for? It's a whole scene. Like, I don't think you would know what it is until like a minute 7 seconds when things start falling down. You're like, oh, I think this is a Final Destination movie. Here, we watched it on YouTube. We saw the title, so we knew what to expect. And that was kind of like ruined the surprise there. So this is kind of one I wish I got to see in theaters and then have a different reaction to. But whatever. No, yeah, I liked that it's presented as like one scene. instead of like doing the montage of various moments across the movie. I imagine, when we get the full trailer, we're going to get that. But right from the beginning of this, even if you don't know what it is, if you were to see this in the theaters, it starts out, like, oh, what is this movie? You pretty much get the idea this isn't going to be a happy movie very early on. The way it's shot, it's dark, those close-ups, the sound, like
Mhm.
it just has this mood.
Though it's a bit more, I would say, artsy compared to previous Final Destinations. Like
Yeah,
I feel
it
like
seems a little polished,
yeah,
and it's the way it's shot. And I initially, if again, like I saw, like if I had saw this in theaters, that first shot, I would have said, oh, it looks like we're getting another Hostel movie. Like you said,
hmm
torture, and I sort of thought the same thing. I was like, oh, we're getting another torture porn movie. But then as things start building up, you're like, okay, this is something different. So yeah, I think it's a good way to promote the movie. Start as the first teaser. Just showing this just like one scene. I wonder if there's going to be more to it. I think so. I feel like this is more of like a Cliff Notes version of what the actual scene in the movie will be. I bet there'll be a little bit more
yeah,
stretched out moments, because especially in this teaser, you see like at the end when he swings,
yep,
it looks like he's swinging and holding the chain with his hand. So it seems like he's detached the chain from his nose. If you were to look back, it almost looks like he's like doing like an Indiana Jones swing, and then he falls down. I think it's off his nose, but yeah, I think we'll see a little bit more fleshed out of that sequence, I think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And also, I think the the moment when he does fall down and get engulfed by the flames, it's not the best CGI moment. Like I don't know if if that's exactly how he ends, or if they just threw in a little bit of some flames engulfing him before they
Mm.
end the shot. I think it could also be he lands and he gets up and he like pads himself off and he's like, what the heck is going on? And it's almost a bait and switch where in the actual movie he doesn't die that way. I think
It
it
could
could be
be.
interesting.
It could. It's interesting because I kind of thought like, so like this guy in the scene, I believe his name is Richard Harmon, and like just going by IMDb, he's like the top name credited. So it's like, is he going to be featured throughout the movie, or is it just because it's just randomly listed? So I'm wondering like, oh, does he actually he's short lived in the movie, or maybe this is a bait and switch, like you said.
Yeah.
If he does die, then this probably happens early on in the movie, because why have it? It's not really much of a surprise if we know he's dead and it's like in the third act kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
so, but hey, who knows? It could be a bait and switch kind of thing.
I also thought it was weird. But this is sort of, in the wheelhouse of Final Destination where, things fall into place in ways that are uh, not uncharacteristic, but like wouldn't really happen, but it does because of this movie. But like, I don't know enough about nose piercings, but I feel like if you're hanging with the full weight of your body off of your nose piercing, it's going to rip through the bottom of your nose. Like that's just cartilage. There's
Yeah.
no bone there. So I feel like I know this is super nitpicking, but like it would just rip off the bottom of his nose. It'd be horrible, he'd have to get plastic surgery or something to like sew that part of his nose back together. But like you wouldn't be swinging from anything by your nose piercing. It would just rip it
No,
out.
100%. And that's why I think like if you rewatch, it appears as if he has it off his nose when he's doing the swinging.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if like, is it? Yeah, he's totally holding it by his hand because you see
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
So like, I wonder like, does he unlatch it, or does it like rip off and like
I think it
they
rips.
just?
Well, it also rips off because at the very end, when he does fall, there's excess chain in his hand. Like the chain goes down with him, so it's ripping off of the ceiling.
And my question is also like, I've never had a nose ring. Is it that hard to just take it off so you
Yeah,
can
yeah. I
just
mean, also
detach?
it's not. It's like usually it's more like a kind of like a bull ring, or it's a horseshoe, a little bit more closed than a horseshoe. But you usually, I believe it's you unscrew one end. It has a little bit of a bulb on it, and then you can take it out.
Hmm.
That like this chain getting attached, yeah, it's very improbable, but I think it's also made to um, elicit that idea of like, if this happened to you, what would you do? Kind of feel, which
Exactly.
I think is a lot of like Final Destination. It's the buildup, right? Like a lot of, because you know they're coming, you know, the universe is coming for them. And in this case, like if it's the children of the people who died or family, like unrightly so, like why would it come for them? I think the biggest thing is that tension. And I know Alfred Hitchcock used to say, I think it was Alfred Hitchcock. Like, there's three types of tension that you can build in like mystery or horror kind of things. And he gave the example of a bomb underneath a table where two people are sitting at the table. And it's like, one, there's people are sitting at a table. You don't know the bomb is there until just before it goes off, and you reveal to the audience that the bomb has like 5 seconds, and then you jump out and it explodes, and they're like, oh no. And that's, you have that 5 seconds of tension that you built because you showed that bomb. And then there's the one where sort of you see somebody place the bomb, and then you have the two people at the table, and you know it's ticking down, and so the audience then has tension as soon as those people sit down because they know it's coming, and are they going to be able to get out of it. And then I can't remember what the third one is. I think the third one is sort of like a mix of the two, but it's this, I think it might be, you know, you see the bomb placed, but you don't see how much time is on it. And then you have the people there. So you're like, is it going to go off while they're there? And I think Final Destination sort of leans into that idea of showing you the bomb first, and you don't know when it's going to go off. And just thinking, oh, is it going to go off now? Is it going to go off now? Or are they going to be able to get out of it? Like that's their whole tension that they build. Is like, how are they going to die? Because we know it's going to happen in the end. And I got to say, other than I think the first Final Destination, and I don't even think I saw the whole thing through. I haven't seen the other ones, but I'm assuming in the end everybody always dies, right? Do they ever get away?
Yes, they do. I haven't seen all the movies. I've seen the first three, and then I didn't see the last two. But no, yeah, you're right. I mean, like this movie is just like all about building the suspense. And like, look, I'm backseat driving this guy. Like, oh, why can't you take off that nose ring really easily? Like, obviously, if you're in that moment, you're like freaking out, trying to like deal with this gnarly situation and under pressure, and try to get this thing off your nose before something bad happens. There's actually a funny moment, like, I don't know if you caught it, when the thing gets hooked onto his nose. He has this like reaction where he just like chuckles when the chain gets hooked into his nose, and he's like, oh, haha, funny, just my luck. He's just like, oh, nothing's gonna happen here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and well, it also sort of um this is the wrong use of begging the question. But it's a common used. It sort of begs the question on what kind of movie is this? Because you know, if you look at 40 seconds in, when he chooses his playlist of music, it's literally a sad clown, and it's Eric's sad mix is the music he chooses. That I feel like there's a possibility that the full trailer comes out, and it's kind of a comedy. That they're just like fucking with people a bit. Because it's like, you know, it's like so tropey at some level, right? Eric's sad music. He just talks about his dad died. He does a tattoo of himself. I don't know if you like looked at the tattoo when he wipes it off, but it just says dad like on his arm. And then this is, you know, the fates are coming and taking all the bloodlines. And like he puts this thing on, and just the absurdity of like the cleaner falls over and dumps out. But when you see him put the cleaner on the chair, he's using like an excess amount of cleaner. Like you just need a little bit to wipe it down, and you like see it kind of splash when he's cleaning off the chair.
Not that I get piercings, and I'm not in those places, but like I appreciate that like he's being thorough, and if he's using extra cleaner, why not?
No, no, no.
I don't.
But like when you're cleaning something, like you can soak a rag or whatever, and then you wipe over the surface. But this was like it's splashing in the amount, like you're getting it on the floor. I just I don't know. I think there's the
He's not
chance.
supposed to, he wasn't supposed to be there. His dad just died. He's just kind of annoyed. He's like, whatever.
I guess it just seems like so over the top at some level that it might be a twist that this is the tension one, and the next one is semi-comedic. I don't know.
If I recall, the movie has like these dark comedic moments. Going back to the monkey,
Mhm.
like that movie. The movie hasn't come out yet. I haven't seen it, but that tone, there's this, maybe that one's just maybe a few hairs darker, but
Mhm.
there's this dark humor and surrounded by death where it's like, oh, it's okay, there's, oh, I got away from this, and then like, oh wait, this fan comes down and chops my head. I feel like there's a few of those situations from previous movies where like the character thinks they got away, like, aha, see, I escaped death, but then
Yeah.
boom.
They get hit
And
by
then
a
it's like,
truck
oh,
or
the
whatever.
audience just has this big reaction and they laugh, and it's like,
Yeah.
what's, when the first one came out in 2000, the original I thought was fun and sort of done in an original way to do a teen
Mhm.
movie,
Yeah.
teen horror or slasher movie. When the first one came out, I think audiences were sort of getting maybe a little fatigued from the past 3 or 4 years of teen horror slasher movies. We had like Scream, the 3 Scream movies. I
I
know
Know
what
What
you
You Did
did
Last
last summer.
Summer. Yeah.
The sequel, Urban Legend. There was a Halloween movie, Disturbing Behavior. So like this was different because it's like there's no like masked killer chasing them. It's
Mhm.
just this death presence going after them. So I thought that was fun and original. I think audiences like that. I mean, they did 5 movies now. They're bringing it back. Obviously, the last few didn't really do well, so probably that's why it kind of died off, pun intended. But yeah, so I think that's kind of, people like it. I think they're fun, and curious to see what the next trailer looks like.
Yeah. And speaking of like additional trailers, I know you and I had talked about this offline. I saw like 20 seconds of the second companion trailer. You started to see it, and like that revealed a lot about that. In the additional videos that you can see when watching the trailer, a Sinners trailer, additional trailer popped up on the feed, and the thumbnail image of that is clearly a reveal about what's going on in the movie, which is I only bring this up because it just bugs me.
I don't know if you've noticed, like people repurpose trailers to their channels. That's like a big thing. So obviously the studios will have their official trailer on the official Warner Brothers or Universal Pictures YouTube channel.
Hmm.
But then there are all these like aggregators of trailers on YouTube that just repost trailers. And then they do like a thumbnail that they may like try to like spoil something or entice people to click on. I don't know what
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you
No,
if you're
this one is exactly that. This is from Blank Movie Network. I won't say the name of it because I don't approve of them doing a reveal thumbnail.
yeah,
So I won't
so
forget. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that's what they do. They try to, again, it's like that's the game,
They
right,
just
on
want to
YouTube.
spoil it for everybody else. Well, no, thank you.
The trailer, I watched the Sinners 2 trailer. It's or not
Don't know.
Sinners
No
2.
spoilers.
The second trailer for
Sinners
Sinners.
trailer
It's
too.
Sinners trailer 2. Yeah. I think it's a fine watch. It doesn't give much away, but yeah, Companion, the second trailer did, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Well, let's go to Angel's YouTube corner.
Oh yeah, so what comments stuck out to me? Oh yeah, so this movie is the sole reason I overanalyze my environment ever since as a kid. There's a
I
lot of
was a
time
kid. Yeah, yeah.
I was a kid. These are verbatim. I should probably clean these up before I. But I feel like that's something you would do. Like one, I
Oh
guess,
yeah,
were you a
Jaws.
fan
No.
of these movies?
Um, I mean, I think they were like I saw the first one or most of the first one, and then I was just like, meh. Like, I mean, there's not much story to them, which I like
Yeah,
the
it's just
story.
people just
Yeah.
get.
So that's like the thing that attracts me to movies is the story element. So things like this, like a little less interesting. I think there are horror movies, like Get Out. I've referenced that before. Like has a really interesting story to it. I mean, there are other ones too.
But
Even Chucky has like what is it? The person on death row who uses a spell of some kind to get into the body of something, and that ends up being the Chucky doll. Like at least that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I never really got into the Final Destination ones because their lack of story.
Got it.
That said, I love John Wick. There's not tons of story always there.
Yeah. Similar to John Wick, I feel like people who are fans of these movies just like want to see these crazy situations that people get into that they end up dead. But like
Yeah.
this one, this series of movies doesn't seem like it would be one that would scare you because there's no
Oh yeah, yeah. No, not at all. Not at all. I'm not.
there's no
I think yeah,
creature, there's no
yeah,
mass killer chasing you.
yeah. And I think they're so outlandish that it's not really believable in the sense that like it'll scare me, and so I don't necessarily like this YouTube commenter doesn't match me. I'm like, the Jaws scares me. I guess if there was like if there were Final Destination things that were more realistic, then I guess that would completely destroy me.
The other comment that I had, I thought was funny. Oh, it's very sort of sarcastic, but what a nice young man remembering his dad. I hope nothing bad happens to him. It's perfect tone there.
Yeah. I think that is also some of the comedy that comes from these movies is the writing is not the most deep. The story is not the most deep. So you can kind of play around with it and it becomes kind of comedic. And sometimes the writers or directors lean into that.
Yeah.
If it's not if it doesn't come out with some comedy stuff, the fact that they have like Eric Sadmix and he mentions his dad multiple times and he's like giving himself a tattoo, which shows how much pain he can handle. And it's a pretty intricate tattoo, which would take a while given the size. I'm just saying, I have a small tattoo and it took a while. That they set it up like that, which I think is funny.
Yeah, and it seems like this one's going to be kind of maybe trying to do it something different in terms of like the storyline. This is straight off the IMDb page. A teenage girl has recurring nightmares of a tower collapse in the 1960s. She discovers that these nightmares are a premonition she inherited from her grandmother. The grandmother predicted the collapse of the building and saved a group of people from death. Decades later, the granddaughter begins to have visions of her family members dying. She realizes that there is a sequence and must fight to prevent death from reclaiming her family's bloodline. So it seems like it's a little different. Again, I didn't see the last two movies, but just like looking at the first movie was like the group of people were on the plane. They didn't get on the plane and they skipped death and the plane blew up or something.
Wait, was that the first one? What was the one where they're on the road and then they like get off the road and then there was the logs that fall?
That's the second one.
Oh, I haven't even seen the first one. I saw parts of the second one then.
The first one is with like, yeah, these kids. I think there's a school trip and one guy has a vision and he has a freak out moment. Then like the teacher and I don't know, maybe another parent or someone, and a few kids leave with him and they're arguing in the airport and then
the plane crashes.
Plane.
Weird personal crossover with this. Gonna be weird. When I was in elementary school, I was in like a after school program. Yeah, parents working, whatever. And we went on some trip in a bus and they made us sit in like the middle of the bus only. And they said it was because one of the parents of one of the kids had like a weird dream in which the bus was hit. And so just on the off chance and to make this parent feel better, they made us sit in the middle because the parent, I think, had a dream that like it was hit from the back or like on the back. The too long didn't read version is the bus did not get hit. And I'm pretty sure there was like one person who was like, "Oh, it's got to be your parents, Evan," and I'm pretty sure it was probably his parents and that person was just trying to like deflect. But those things happen, and people do listen to him because who knows? But that's just that's my tangent.
And just another thing that the previous movies are known for, like you called out that the highway sequence with the logs, that's from the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Like these movies similarly have like something that like that, but it's in the beginning, right? It's sort of like Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible has that big stunt that they're like hyping up. It's going to be in the middle of the movie. It's going to blow everyone's head off and super cool. These movies similarly have that as well, but it's like at the beginning, right? It's this big sequence that sort of sets off the movie. First one, not so much. It's just like the airplane. I think it's the first one that was more like the low budget version of it, but the second one was this big highway sequence with logs flying here and there and cars crashing and flipping. The third one, that the big thing with that one was this roller coaster accident, right? So I wonder what this one's gonna be, and hopefully maybe they try to keep it hidden enough, like on the next trailer. But if they follow that formula, that structure, that um that may
Well,
be
but
there
maybe
or not.
maybe that's. I mean, with the synopsis you just read, maybe they're going a different direction. Maybe instead it's this is a thing from the past and it's trying to correct the past,
Oh
and
yeah,
this
yeah, maybe it's something.
soothsayer is saving everybody, and
Hmm.
you know, death, the eternal immortal character is not happy with that and trying to
Hmm.
get his own. I hope this then ends up in a Bill and Ted's bogus journey style where they have a like 2 out of 3 board game off with death as a means to save people. And then Station shows up. Okay, with I feel like with that
Should we give a
we should.
verdict
Oh yeah, yeah. You want to do verdict? Yeah, let's do verdict.
or verdict rating? I'll guess yours. You're not there. You're skipping it. You're skipping it. Just based on that you've never seen you haven't seen all the other ones. You've seen the first one, but you probably really saw the second one if you and you don't care for the franchise, so you're skipping. I feel like you're skipping this.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I would say I'm in the hard pass,
All
and
right.
unless it comes out that it's like really funny, then I would probably move it up to the if nothing else on. But like nothing in this is gonna pump me up to work out to. I like there's no intense story related to it. That yeah, this is. I think I love this trailer. I think it's a really interesting way to present the trailer. But even after watching the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is a cool trailer, but like I don't want to see this movie.
Again, if you're not a fan, like I guess like seeing those like different chain reaction of things
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
happening,
yeah.
like how is this person gonna get killed? I know you don't that doesn't really entertain you, or like okay, that's fine.
Oh,
I'm
wait, let me guess. I was trying to look up the name. There's those not it's not useless machines, but it's the toys that not the toys, but there's like a series of things in a row. You know, it's like you drop the ball and then it goes down and then the water and then that flips something and it all in the end is to like turn a single page in a book. Like it's a very complex steps to then do
yeah.
something very simple. I feel like that's what these movies do. I'm gonna guess you. I'm gonna guess you would stream it. I feel like you've seen the first few, but you haven't been motivated to see the other ones. This one has got a story. You kind of like this genre enough to have seen 3 of them, but it's not epic enough to have you going to see it in theaters.
Yeah, I definitely would stream it. As opposed to seeing it in theaters. That's not to say though I wouldn't see it in theaters.
I don't think there's anything that you wouldn't see in theaters.
There are. We just haven't like broken down any of these trailers. Right now, if like the movie came out, I was like, based off this, I'll stream it. But if they're
You could be convinced
obviously if they're,
by follow up
I
trailers.
could be convinced. Again, my summer movies are my jam. So May kicks off the summer movie season. So I like to see a lot. It's a lot of stuff. And again, this I like the genre. These can be fun in theaters with an audience.
Yeah.
It's promoting IMAX, which I feel like that's kind of getting watered down. Like, is
Hmm.
everything filmed for IMAX, or is that just a little
Yeah.
thing just to
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
try to sell people? Like, I mean, if they shot with IMAX cameras, yeah, okay, but I feel like it's getting a little overkill with
Well,
the
it's like
IMAX.
that era that was 3D, but it was like 3D done in post, and everything was like,
Yeah,
oh, it's now also a 3D movie, and you're like, yeah, but this is not like the good 3D.
exactly.
It's the one
Yeah,
that's just like blurry on the corners and such.
yeah, and I think there was a Final Destination movie in 3D. So right now I'll stream it.
Cool. And the comments leave question to leave in the comments that we thought would be interesting from this one is given the fact that this is in that genre of sort of franchise movies, what movie franchise would you like to write a sequel for? You've got Scream, you've got Final Destination. I mean, technically you've got the superhero movies, though I feel like really franchise movies are less of that kind of feel and more of these ones. Human Centipede's got I don't know how many of them. Was there one that you think would be kind of fun to do a twist on in your own way? Throw that in the comments.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's it. You got anything else?
That's it. I got nothing else.
Well,
Oh, I saw a couple of movies.
what do you see?
I did see Heart Eyes in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. I saw it at a bad time, I think. I wish I saw it at night.
Mm.
with a with
Bigger
a
audience.
bigger audience,
Yeah.
but it's fine. It's fine. Saw Love Hurts too. I
Oh,
did
oh,
a
cool, cool.
matinee double bill. That was not. That wasn't great.
Oh no, really? We didn't do that trailer, but that trailer made me want to kind of see it. I was like, I
It's
watched.
just. I think you'll enjoy it on streaming or on the bike or when you're working
Yeah,
out. It's short.
I saw Conclave, and I thought that was really good.
I want to see that.
It's good. It's like it's got a nice slow build, and the acting's great. The story, it's like, yeah, it's got a great little like drip kind of thriller aspect to it, which is a really interesting given the concept of it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's on my list. I want to check that out.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.